I love to praise your name. I love to lift you up. Oh, and we bless your name. Oh, sweet Jesus, 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 Jesus. I love to praise your name. Love to lift you up. Oh, we bless your name. Sweet Jesus, 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 sweet Jesus, 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 power in the name of Jesus, 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 healing in the name of Jesus, 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 love to call his name, Jesus, 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 I love to call his name, Jesus, 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 I love to praise your name. I love to lift you up. Oh, and I bless your name. Oh, sweet Jesus. Hallelujah. I bless you. All I know. That's hashtag all I know. All I know is when you asked me 29 years ago to be your wife, I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to pray about it. I didn't have to talk to God about it. Because you were the only one that I stayed with longer than any other guy I ever dated. You liked me, not because of what I did, not because of where I sang, not because of what I played. You liked me for who I am. And ever since June 27th, 1987, I have made a sincere, conscious decision to be yours and no one else's. I respect you. I love you. I appreciate you. I applaud you. I esteem you higher than any other man on the planet. You are the reason why I can do what I do. Everybody is not as fortunate as I am. And I appreciate the God in you for having the confidence and the trust in me. Because I'm around a whole lot of people. And I deal with a whole lot of folks. But honey, today, I want you to know that I love you from the tips of my toes to the top of his hair. You make my world spin around and around and around and around and around. Oh, yes, you do. Wow. Ooh, you make my world go round. Oh, yes, you do.
Well, all I know Miss Frida is my girl. All I know is Frida was created for me to love. All I know, I once had a heart and it was true. Now it's gone from me to you. So take care of it as I have done. Now you have two, I have none. We are one. I love you, baby. Come on, put your hands together.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Marriage Monday. I am so glad to be with you all. I thank you for praying for me. I had some oral dental work done on last week, and I was out of commission literally all week. But I am grateful to be back with you today. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your text messages. Thank you for your phone calls that I couldn't really talk, but thank you for your phone calls. And I just appreciate people showing love to me on last week while I was a little down. But I'm back. I'm not 100%, but I'm much, 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 much better. And so I'm grateful again. Now, what I came to talk about, I told you it's going to be hot and it's going to be heavy. Today is Marriage Monday, as you can see in the background. I did write a book called Married Life Straight Talk. It's about my preparation and my journey as I prepared to walk down the aisle with that handsome gentleman standing behind me, the doctor, the one and only Reverend Stanley Campbell, whom I love. Oh, yes, I do. But nevertheless, and we just celebrated 33 years of marriage on June 27th, 2020. And I am ever so grateful that God has kept us, that God has sustained us, that God has allowed us to still like each other, because that's very, very, very important in our relationships with our spouses. Amen. Somebody type amen in the comments, if you will. Because, you know, hey, over a period of time, stuff just started happening. But there are things that we have to do within the confines of our marriages to keep it spicy, to keep it hot, to keep it going, to keep it moving, to keep, you know, the romance, to keep the passion, to keep the love, to keep the like, to keep the everything that we need to make our marriages work. No, every marriage is not the same, but marriage in itself is the same. And so we definitely appreciate God for allowing us to be married for 33 years. I was 21 when I walked down the aisle. He was actually 26 or about to be 26, somewhere in there. But I am yet grateful that God has kept us up until this present moment. And so I give God all praise. I give God all glory and all honor for loving me enough to give me somebody, or to send somebody, or to let somebody, or to allow somebody, and he created somebody to take care of me. Lord Jesus, I know that is something else, but nevertheless, don't worry about it. Don't type amen on that though. All right. All right. So what I came to talk about today is marriage in a different way, though. I wanted to talk about several aspects of marriage, and I get quite a few questions. I get quite a few emails. I get quite a few inbox messages, and people are always asking me, you know, what advice can you give me? Because this is where I am in my marriage. I know you've been married for some time, and I would like, you know, some advice to help me in my relationship with my spouse. And so there are several things I want to talk about today, because I've gotten a lot of these questions the questions that I'm going to, or should I say, I'm sorry, not the questions, but the things that I'm going to address today stem from a lot of the questions that I've received. And so I want to offer, I want to shed a little light. I want to offer a little advice. I want to help some people along this journey. You can take it. I'm putting it out there. This is how I feel about it. And you can take it or you can leave it. But at some point, if things happen, you will always have something that you can go back and look at. Okay. And so, as I stated, there are some things that we deal with in the confines of marriage that sometimes people just don't want to deal with. They just don't want to deal with the fact that we have issues, we have problems, we have things that are going on in our marriages and in our situations, and we just really don't want to share with nobody. We want to keep it to ourselves. We don't want people to know that we have issues. So we want to come out of the house and we want to look good in front of the people. But when we get in the car or when we get home or what have you, on the phone, via text message, via email, via FaceTime, via Skype, whatever, via Twitter, whatever, when people are having problems, sometimes they just don't know what to do. And so I want to share a few things, and I pray that you receive them. Those that are in those places and spaces, I pray that you receive them. If you don't, that's fine. But I pray that God will prick your heart even after this video is off, because I am here to literally help to empower and encourage people in their marriages and in their relationships. And so the first thing I want to talk about is I've gotten quite a few questions on this subject. Now, I must start by saying I have never been divorced. I have been married to the same gentleman for 33 years. So what I'm going to share is based on conversations that I've had and the outcome of some things that I've been privy to, if you will, with helping other people that have gone through divorce. I've seen how divorce hurts. I've seen how divorces tear families apart. I've seen how divorce make people that loved each other hate each other, not like each other, say evil and mean things about each other. And then, and I'm speaking from the believers aspect. I'm not speaking to the people that don't believe. I'm talking about from this whole context and whole conversation is about believers, people that say they are saved, people that profess Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, people that profess Yahweh, Yahshua, Yamashia, all of them. People that profess them, that's who I'm talking to. Okay. And so whatever you believe, I'm speaking to you today. And I'm speaking to you from a place because I'm tired sometimes of seeing the patterns and the behaviors happen over and over and over again, and nobody says anything. And so now I'm going to speak and I'm going to say what I'm going to say because this is All I Know TV. And I can say that. So I'm talking about divorced parents and divorced parents that are co-parenting children. And I want to say I have several questions, but before I go to the questions, and I want you that are viewing, I want you to think about it. You can comment if you so desire. If you don't want to comment during this segment, you can always comment after, inbox me, email, what have you. But before we do that, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at All I Know TV. Please like and share this video that you are viewing today. And if you would like to start a watch party, feel free. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, here we go. The first question, or the first thing I want to say, again, I have several questions for those of you that were married to someone and you have found yourselves unable to make things work in your marriage, that you end up going to divorce court, whether amicable or otherwise. papers are signed, and if children are involved, the hard work begins. So question 1 goes like this. How do you put your feelings aside for each other as adults to make sure you do the things on the same level to continue to raise your children to become successful adults? Okay. I'm gonna leave that right there for a moment. And I want you to if you are that person that has gone through a divorce, that is going through a divorce, or that has gone through a divorce, how do you put your feelings aside for each other as the adults to make sure that your children are successful adults? How do you do that? What does that look like? And if there are people that are viewing today that are trying to figure that out, if you've already lived through that or are living through that, you could be the person that would answer their questions. And so that's why it's important to create the dialogue, to start the conversation, and then to allow people to come together in a form of having that conversation. So this won't just start and stop today. What I'm giving you today is the beginning of a 2-week conversation where there will be other individuals that will be on with me to further answer these questions. So today I am literally putting the cards on the table. I am literally putting the cards on the table so that everybody knows that when they come to the table, they will be on the same playing field and they will know what we're talking about. That's question number 1. Question number 2, in co-parenting, do you talk down about the person that you were married to the children? Do you, as the parent that is co-parenting, talk down about the person that you were married to the children that you are now co-parenting? Okay, heavy question, loaded question, but I need the answer, and I need somebody to answer that question. All right. Question number 3, do you put yourself aside, overcompensate for not being with the other parent, or do you genuinely love your child or children and move forward with your new life as a single divorced parent? So when I say overcompensate, are you still trying to figure out ways to get back with that person? Or have you just decided, you know what, I see that this is not going to work between he and I, or she and I. And so do I overcompensate by trying to buy all the latest fashions, trying to buy all the Jordans and all this, that, and the third, to appease or bother or make the other person mad? Or do we do this equally so that we can show these children that we're raising what love looks like, even though we couldn't make it as parent, as husband and wife? Okay. Did you get that question? All right. I'm putting the questions out there because I've been getting a lot of this information from people. So now we're going to bring it to the table. we're not going to keep doing this because, again, I have never been divorced. So I don't know. But I want to help bridge this gap and bring this conversation to the table, because you don't even have a clue as to how much you will help to heal and mend other people's hearts as they are either going through and have gone through and are having a hard time getting past these things. That's why I'm bringing them to the table. Question number 4. Do you hate the other parent, but yet you teach your children that we are to love everybody? So it's kind of like a question, but then it's also like you can't hate the other parent and then you tell your children to love everybody. So you got to figure that out, because then you're sending mixed messages to your children. And the thing is, your children see you where other people don't see you, because your children are with you most of the time. So they hear your conversation. They hear your tone when you're on the phone talking to them. They hear all of these different things. And a lot of times the kids ain't going to say nothing. But the kids, I have had children to reach out to me, to ask me questions because of what they see with their parents. And I'm like, God, I can't answer their questions to that degree because I've never experienced it. But I have family members and I have people that I'm connected to that have experienced this. So I would kind of like talk to them about it and then go back and answer these children's questions. But I want to create a dialogue, because this is something that needs to be discussed, and we can't keep shouting over this stuff, and we can't keep hooking in the side over this stuff, and we can't keep doing all of this, that, and the third, when the real reality is some people don't need to be in the prayer line. They just need to be right. Some people need to get right, but some people need help knowing how to get right. And so my next question is, has being divorced made you bitter or better? Has being divorced made you bitter or better? And so again, I'm bringing these questions to the table because I want to help bridge gaps, to create dialogue, to help bring healing and wholeness to people. Even through divorce, you can still be healed. And I know it will take time, and I know God can do anything but fail. And so, I know people go and see psychiatrists and psychologists and psychiatrists, and they go and see all these different people. But at the end of the day, do you ask God as an individual to help you to be healed and to help you to be made whole from divorce? All right. That was part one. Now, part two of this conversation is, why do married people mess around with other married people? Or just people outside of their marriages? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself out there like that, knowing that you are connected and married to somebody who has feelings, who has a heart? And I know things may not always be good on the home front, and I know all of those things, but you stood and made a vow and said, I promise. You said it. No one forced you to say it. And if they did, shame on you. Because if you wasn't ready, you shouldn't have made that promise. You shouldn't have made the promise. You shouldn't have said, I do, when you really was feeling, I don't. You shouldn't have stood. You shouldn't have spent that money. You shouldn't have squoze in that tight dress. Yes, I said squoze. You shouldn't have done any of that. You should have just said, I'm not ready. But when you make that promise, for better, for worse, and all of those things, richer and poor, sickness and health, to love, honor, cherish, and obey till death do us part, you are making a covenant. And so then why would you step out on your spouse to go be with somebody else? Actually, whether they're married or single, you're breaking the covenant. And so at the end of the day, whether the people see you or not, God sees you. And again, I'm talking to believers. I'm not talking to unsaved people. I'm talking to believers. It's so much I want to say on that, but I'm gonna curtail it because I have to save it for the dialogue at the table. But what I will say is this: if a person approaches you, married person, whether they are married or whether they are single, if they approach you in any obscene, crazy way, you have the opportunity to cut it off. You have the opportunity to shut it down. You have that golden opportunity to say, no, ma'am, no, sir, I am already married. I do not do that. Because the deal is, people are easy to do. It's easy for people to do stuff, but they don't appreciate it when it's done to them. So they will step out on you, or they will step out on their mate. But then when somebody steps out on them, or when their mate steps out on them, then it's World War 17. When they didn't consider the other person, then you come back apologizing, and then you go and do it again, and then you come back apologizing, and then you go and do it again. It's only so much people are going to take, people. And some people stay. Some people got great benefits, I guess. I don't know. I've never been in that situation. Again, these are things that people ask me. And so, as I stated from the beginning, I am bringing this to the table because over the next few weeks, there will be conversation about this on Marriage Monday. You don't have to answer their text messages and their phone calls and their DMs and they messages to you. You don't have to answer any of it. And if you like me, I had somebody that approached me. So I'm not just speaking from a place of ain't nobody never approached me. I mean, whatever. But I had someone to approach me. Oh, ma'am, you are absolutely beautiful. Gentleman, nice looking man. I ain't blind. I ain't slow. Nice looking gentleman. And he approached me. Oh, ma'am, you are beautiful. And he wasn't from church. Because I asked him. I said, well, do you go to church? No, ma'am, I'm not into church. Well, I am, sir. Oh, you are? Oh, okay. But you're still beautiful, and I would really like to get to know you. Oh, so I would be your first church girl? Is that what you saying to me? Oh, yeah, because, I don't get down with church, and I don't do this, all this. Oh, okay. So what you want to do? Well, I want to take you to lunch, and I want to get to know you. I want to spend a little time with you, see what you all about. I said, well, okay, no problem. I said, well, you sure you want to take me to lunch? Yes, ma'am, I sure do. Can I get your digits? Can we connect? Can I call you later? I said, well, before I give you my number, let me just say this. If you want to take me to lunch, you also have to take my husband and my 3 sons, because we are family and we all a package, because that's how we roll. So, I didn't know. I didn't know. I had a ring on. I had on a ring. But people don't care if you got a ring on or not. If you're cute and if they want you, they'll do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, you as that individual have to be the bigger person and shut that down. Again, you said, I promise. You made a vow. You made a vow. And it's up to you to keep your vow that you made. God heard you make the vow. And however many people that was at your wedding, they heard you make your vow too. So as crazy as it is, the weddings that I've gone to in times past, I didn't buy no gift because I didn't know. I was like, I'm not going to keep buying gifts because I keep buying gifts and then the people don't stay together. I'm sorry. And then no, because now they got to determine who gonna get my gift, and I'm not buying two. So I'm just saying. But nevertheless, if you are unhappy, if you are unhappy as a single person, do not marry somebody and make them an unhappy married person with you and your unhappy self. Get some happiness about you. Love yourself, like yourself, treat yourself, take care of yourself, do things for yourself, make yourself happy, people. Time is out for playing this game. Oh, I just want to be married because I want to impress somebody. No, this is somebody's life and they are connected to other people. And so it's not just that person's life and you got kids and you do all of this. And then after you've gotten what you want, then you bounce. No, that ain't right. That's not right at all. And so at the end of the day, Cut that stuff off immediately. If you are not ready, if he asks you, y'all been dating and y'all been talking on the phone and y'all been doing all of this and a third, and then he asks you, if you are not ready, I don't care how big that ring is, what restaurant he take you to, and if he get on both knees or one knee or can't get on no knees and sit in the chair, whatever the case may be, you need to say no. That's very, very important. If you get to the church and you're still feeling some kind of strangeness in your body, like, I don't really know if I'm ready to do this, after y'all just spent all that money on them invitations, and you just spent all of that money on them tuxes and dresses, and then bought that food and do all of that, if you walk down that aisle and you stand in front of that church and you still feel a no in your shata, when they ask you, do you, say, I don't. And explain why. Hey, because this is your life. You are making a commitment. And so it's important not to be selfish as adults. And adults, we are so selfish. And we don't think about the consequences of our actions. So we will do all of this, plan all of this, invite. And then the craziest part, you invite people fly in for your wedding. People do all of that for your wedding. And this, that, and the third. And then y'all get divorced. Listen, I want a refund. Can somebody reimburse me on my airline ticket? I came for a wedding and I was expecting y'all to still be together. And then that don't happen. I want a refund. And can I stop the payment on my gift card? I'm just saying. I mean, I know that's not going to happen, but sometimes that's what people think when they hear that different things happen. That runs through their mind, just so you know. When you are going after someone that you are not legally married to, or that you are not married to and they are married to someone else, are you thinking about, you're just being selfish and thinking about how you feel. You're not thinking about the actions and the people that are affected by your actions. So it's important to think, people, before we make those kinds of moves, because you never know how that other person may respond. You never know how their family will respond. You never know how people that are connected to them will respond. I know people that have ended up in the hospital behind people not treating their family members cool. And so it's like, you got to think about all of that. No, it's not always easy. It takes work. Marriage is work. Marriage takes time. You're not going to know everything overnight. Listen, after 33 years of marriage, there are still some things I am learning, because things change over the years. Our bodies change. We change. Our levels of everything tend to change. And so we have to figure it out as we go. And so I'm not sitting on no soapbox to try to make it look like everything was perfect and everything was peachy keen. Because see, I was crazy and I still am. And it's a wonder that my husband is still married to me today sometime, because of some of the things that I did. So I'm not sitting up here trying to make you think I was no angel and I just dotted every I correctly and crossed every T. Child, no. But at the end of the day, I had to learn the hard lessons that it is not me by myself. I am in a covenant relationship with somebody. I stood and said all of the things that the preacher told me to say, but he just didn't tell me to say it and I repeated it. I meant that from my soul. When I stood at Ephesians Church of God in Christ in that white dress and them ballerina slippers, that dress that my daddy made my wedding gown. Listen, I was flossing too. I was cute, but I'm just saying. And I stood there and looked him in his eyes. I wasn't looking at his hair. I wasn't looking down. I wasn't looking to the left or the right. I looked him straight in his eyes. And I said all of those vows that I was instructed to say, but that came from my heart, not just from no paper. And so at the end of the day, you have to do the work in order to make your marriage work. And again, marriage is work. Marriage takes time. If you are a person that likes things done in a particular way, his way of doing it may not be your way of doing it. So instead of creating an argument and instead of creating tension, if it's something and it gets to that degree, have a conversation about it. Because all he gonna say is, I don't like cheese on my hamburger. Well, this is how I make it. I'll make them with cheese. I'll never make just a straight hamburger. Well, boo, he may be lactose intolerant. Those are conversations that you need to have. If you got children, I don't this, I don't that. Well, boo, if that is all his budget is working with, y'all have to come to some kind of happy medium in order to have peace in your home, in order to have peace within the confines of your marriage. It is so important that we put pettiness aside in marriage and do what it takes to have peace. And if that means we cannot go out to dinner, well, you can't do that right now anyway, but we cannot go out to crustaceans, or we cannot go to Houston's, or we cannot go to Ruth Chris this week, because we have extra bills that slipped on through that, and because PG&E is so high, we can't order from them today. We can't DoorDash from them today. And if you're not cooking nothing, you might need to DoorDash from someplace a little cheaper, but you still eat. Because it's called responsibility, and it's called being a part of a working organism to have peace in your home. Marriage ain't just about sex. Marriage ain't just about all of that. We think and we have all of these fantasies and fairy tale dreams of, this is how my marriage is going to be, and this is how my marriage is going to be, and I'm not going to say that to him, and I'm not going to do that to him, and when we have kids, he ain't going to treat my kids like. You're doing all of this pre-talking, pre-conversation, pre-meetings. You don't know what's going to happen till you get in it. Oh, I'm going to be a size 8 the entire time I'm married. The devil. You need to put a little meat on your bones, baby. He don't want you with all them bones. He needs some help, because them bones is hurting. You know what I'm saying? But then you got to deal with the other piece of that. Right, because our bodies change. We start losing our hair. We start losing all of these different things. But you can't go into marriage thinking, oh, this is how it's going to be. People put on, people act, people do all of that. That's why you need to be real. You need to be true to who you are from the gate. Then it don't, stuff will happen along the way, but they kind of have an idea of who they're working with. My husband knew I was crazy before he married me. I don't think he knew the level of crazy, but he knew I was crazy. But listen, let me tell you something. Sidebar, time out. I love my husband. Hear me clearly. I love my husband. Again, we celebrated 33 years of marriage. I absolutely love my husband. I give my husband a hard time, but I love my husband. I love everything about my husband. My husband, I told y'all this is a whole sidebar because I had to say it while I'm thinking about it, and then I'm going to go back to what I'm saying. I'm going to finish. Y'all listen. This is Marriage Monday, and I have to let y'all in on something. My husband is on Facebook. My husband is new to Facebook. Now, you know how, oh God, please help me. You make a post, right? And you get notifications, right? My husband didn't set his phone to where every single time, and anybody that knows me know I love to post on Facebook and social media. So every time I make a post, no matter where I am, I hear this ding. And at first I didn't trip off of it. I didn't think anything of it. And then, of course, you know, we're quarantined, we're in the house. So then you start taking note of different little things. And so all of a sudden, I made a post and I heard the phone go ding, his phone. And so I said, okay. So it dawned on me, this man did the thing to where every time I make a post, he get a notification. Listen, and I call him the Facebook Sergeant at Arms, because we have to have meetings about certain posts that I make or who I'm talking about. Or so y'all pray for me. This is why I need prayer. I love him, but this is why I'm on the prayer list right now for Facebook, because in social media, because he gonna check me. But again, I love everything about that. I love it because just over a year ago, he had memory issues because he had suffered brain damage and he suffered other things in his body. So I love the fact that we can communicate, not just about church and not just about just God. He asked me different questions about things that are going on because he wants to know. And I appreciate the fact that he wants to make sure I'm covered and ain't nobody trying to come for me, because he will get you. He'll get you. He with his little sweet, quiet, humble self. He will, because he love him some me, and I love him. Oh, okay, back to what I was saying now. Listen, y'all got to act right in your marriages. That's what I'm trying to say. I need everybody that's married. I need everybody that's married, that's having problems. I need you to put your problems aside. I'm going to talk about some more stuff in a minute, but I need you to put your problems aside for one moment. And I need you to ask yourself, why are we having problems? Why? I just need you to ask yourself, why are we having problems? Don't ask the other person. Don't ask your mate. If you are having problems in your relationship, I want you to ask yourself, why are we having problems? I want you to ask yourself that. And then I want you to answer yourself. I want you to write down, I want you to write down your answer to why you are having problems in your marriage. Not about the other person. This is about you. Why do you feel you are having problems in your marriage? Okay? Be honest with yourself. Don't throw off on the other person, even if the other person is causing the problems. You write it down. Don't voice it to them. Write it down. Okay? I'm trying to give you a little help. After you write it down, and both of you have written it down, give them, y'all switch papers, and y'all read why each other feels you are having problems in your marriage. And you will find out most times that what you're mad about, y'all can fix in a conversation. What you mad about, y'all can pray. Y'all can grab hands and pray for each other. Not go to the church trying to get the pastor to pray, trying to get nobody to prophesy your problems away. No, you have to deal with your problems. You have to deal with your situations. And if your situations stem from early childhood issues, if your situation, your problems still stem from you having trust issues because somebody did you wrong, somebody hurt you, somebody did this, that, and the third to you. If that's what your problems stem from, you need to have that conversation. See, these are some things that people need to be honest from the gate. If you have issues from early childhood and you dating somebody and then he say something and it makes you go off, it makes you go from 1 to 1,500 in a matter of 2.3 seconds, something is wrong and that needs to be addressed. You don't keep letting that go because it's going to become a snowball effect. And so I'm just here to help the people of God to work on your marriages. Work on having peace in your marriage. Work at having a solid marriage. No, everything is not going to be hunky-dory all of the time. As we get older, our patience tends to get a little shorter. As we get older, some petty stuff just don't matter no more. As we get older, life changes for us. Circumstances change. Things begin to look a little different. Stuff we argued over when we was in our 20s and our 30s. Child, listen, ain't nobody got time to be arguing. I don't have the energy to argue. I do not. I don't have the energy to raise my voice. Listen, my blood pressure, I'm trying to keep that normal. Don't have time to be stressed out behind a relationship that I have a hand in controlling. If I do my part and if he does his part and we come together and make that thing work, that's a beautiful thing. But if I'm dragging my feet while he's trying to make us, because he's my covering, and if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, it's going to cause a problem. And so we have to work together. We have to work in harmony. We have to put forth our best. And I understand everybody's marriage is not the same. Everybody's situation is not the same. But talking will help the situation. Because this is the thing. If you don't talk to your spouse, you're going to end up talking to a lawyer. You're going to end up having to talk to a judge. You're going to end up having to talk to people about child support. You're going to end up having to talk to somebody. So talk to the person that you made the commitment to. That you said, I love you, baby. Ain't nobody better than you. Ain't nobody like you on the planet. Ain't nobody this, that, and all this, that, and all the stuff that people say. But then when the rubber really meets the road, it's all bad. I came today to talk to us and to help us to have a peaceful relationship, to have peace in our homes, to have peace in our marriages. And even if you're single, to have peace in being single. You do not have to be married to be happy. You can be single and be happy. I'm 100% me. I didn't marry my husband for him to complete me. I was complete when I got with him. We was two complete people that came together to become one complete person in our union. But I wasn't 50 and he wasn't 50. And then we came together and made 100. Oh, no, baby. No, ma'am. No, sir. I knew when I walked down that aisle, I wanted to marry him. I knew when I walked down that aisle that I wanted to be his wife. I knew when I walked down that aisle, I wasn't trying to chase nobody else. I knew that. I didn't walk down the aisle. I didn't do all that planning. I didn't get all them people in my wedding. I didn't do all of those sorts of things. And then get there and, I'm back. No, I knew that's what I wanted. That's not something to be fickle about. That's not something you play about. Because there are lives at stake. There are emotions. There are feelings at stake here. And everybody does not always recover. They don't recover. And some people don't. Some people recover, but they may not recover well. And so it is very, 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 very important, adults, that we not be selfish. That we not mess over the lives of individuals. Preacher, teacher, evangelist, prophet, bishop, all of that. Leader in the church, deacon, usher, all of it. Administrator, all of it. That's who I'm speaking to today. Because what the shameful piece is, we do it and then we got to minister to other people. And we got to tell them that God can keep you if you want to be kept. But he couldn't keep you from sister so-and-so's house. Or he couldn't keep you from brother so-and-so's house. Or he couldn't keep you from spending up all the money. Or he couldn't keep you from causing havoc in your household and then making your spouse so sick. And then instead of you taking care of your spouse, you got to go pay people to come in and take care of your spouse. The devil. You got your spouse out there working hard to make sure everything is taken care of. And then you sitting at home, lady. Right, that part. Mad. But while he out working and trying to take care of you and the kids, you emailing and you in other people's DMs. Oops, said it, not taking it back. You sending emails to other men, to your exes. You doing all of this kind of stuff. The devil is a lie. I fight for marriage. I stand for marriage because this is an institution that God ordained. This ain't just some willy-nilly something. Oh, the purity class, we gonna have a Tom Thumb wedding. Baby, after the Tom Thumb wedding, them children go home with their parents. They mock what the adults do, but they go home with their parents. No. This is real life, people. And we wonder why a lot of times our churches are dysfunctional because it's got dysfunction in the house. Listen, everybody has a tinge of dysfunction, if you will. Don't get me wrong, because everybody is not perfect. But at the end of the day, people, this is what God instituted because he wanted us to see what marriage in heaven will be like through marriage in the earth. And when we don't keep our vow, it's not just hurting that other person. We're breaking a vow that we made in front of God. Because when we said I do, it wasn't just to the other person. This was to God as well. And we don't look at it like that. We just say, oh no, God, God is at the center. God, no, ma'am. He's all in it. But you choose how God stay in it. That part. By your actions. Last thing I'm going to say, because I have some more to say on that. But I think I covered it. The last thing I'm going to say, part 3, because that was part 2. I just went into part 2. I went to part 2. This is part 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I started saying it. Stop going after married pastors and pastors. If you feel like okay, so let me just say this. Let me say this. Married pastors and pastors. I said married pastors and pastors. And the reason why I say and pastors, because there are some pastors that are single, and I know they eventually want to be married. But let him approach you. Don't be all in his face. Don't you be all in his office. Oops, did I go there? Because I don't think that's on my paper anywhere. I don't. Let me look at my paper because I got to make sure I'm right. No, that's not on my paper. But yeah, cut it out. Just, I want to holler, but cut it out. Because you don't realize, ma'am, how you making yourself look in the eyes of the congregation, in the eyes of the people. And so let him approach you. He'll see you. He gonna see you because he's standing up in the pulpit. He gonna see you. Okay? He sees you. So don't act like you got to be all in his face. You got to be all in the office. You got to be all at every meeting. You wasn't coming to church like that before that. And then all of a sudden you got your pastor and he started looking good to you because you ain't caught up in the spirit. Now all of a sudden, you start dreaming about your pastor, the devil. Let him approach you because you don't know who he looking for. And most times it ain't you. Sorry. It's the person that's doing stuff in ministry that most pastors is looking for. Okay? Because they need somebody that's going to work alongside them. They're not looking for the person that's coming late to church. They're not looking for the person. They're not looking for the person that, don't do nothing. Ain't in no ministry. Don't support the church. They know if you giving tithes and offerings because they look at the records. Y'all so slow. Y'all don't even know how to do it. Y'all don't even know how to do it. Work in ministry, people. He will find you because he will see you doing something. That part. If you have to go pray, if the pastor, I'm talking to the pastor, if you got to go pray for some of the members at their homes, please take your wife. Please take your wife. If your wife can't go, take one of the kids. If the kids can't go, take one of the deacons. Don't go by yourself, sir. It's a trap. It's a trap. And that's whether you, and when I say married pastors or pastors, that's for both ways, because it's a trap. These women will do any and everything to get with you, sir. They'll try to talk about the Holy Ghost. They'll try to talk about Jesus. They'll try to talk about all of that. And that's because what you like, then that's what they'll flow with. No, ma'am and sir, cut it out. Cut that mess out. If he don't want you, you can't make him want you. So cut it out. Call the deaconess to come pray for you. Call somebody else to come pray for you. Let the pastor pray for you over the phone. Let him send you a prayer text message. But cut that out. This is the kind of stuff that hurt the church. And people don't want to talk about this part of it. They want to talk about it in the women's meeting, but then the women that's doing this stuff don't show up to the meeting. So somebody got to say it. I'll say it. I'm solid. I'm good. Because I know what I'm talking about. Let him find you. Let him find you. Okay? Because everybody ain't his good thing. Oops, did I say that? Everybody ain't his good thing. And so it's important. Let him find you, boo. Yeah, let him find you. If you have to meet with the members, again, this is to the pastor. Pastor, if you have to meet with the members, have someone in the meeting with you. The head deacon, or somebody, if you don't want your spouse to be involved in the meeting, because sometimes people have personal things that they want to share with the pastor. Well, pastor, please let the people know that you're going to have a deacon, you're going to have your assistant, or you're going to have somebody in there, especially these single women. Well, it ain't just single women. I'm sorry. It's the married ones too. Because some of these married women is dreaming about their pastor and won't give their husband 2 shakes. Cut it out. That day is over. That is stale and tired. And then you're miserable. And then you're unhappy. And then somebody gonna see you. And when they say something, then you ready to leave the whole church. You ready to walk away from God because you messing in places and business you shouldn't be in. Absolutely. I'll say amen myself. Yeah, that part. Because we got to do better, people. We have to do better. If this has been what you have been known for, because there are people that have reputations for doing this kind of stuff and messing up people's marriages and people's relationships and even their churches and things of that nature. If that is what you are known for, I'm going to ask you to cut it out. But then I don't really have to too much ask you to cut it out, because the virus has helped you to cut it out. The virus has helped to change some bad habits. Cause we supposed to be social distancing, and you ain't supposed to be doing all of that there. I went to Mama Dear voice. But no, cut it out, people. Life is too short. People are dying everywhere. They didn't just start dying when this virus hit, but it's even more heightened now. And so we got to be aware of what is going on. And no, we can't get to church like we were able to in the past. And even with that, it's still not the same. Now everybody is trying to make sure they don't get sick. So they're washing their hands and they're wearing gloves and they're wearing masks and they're doing all of that. And some people wearing hats and it's just a lot of things happening. So, but this right here, this adultery thing, and this fornication thing, y'all need to let that go. You need to let that go. This is a time to reset your focus. So if you are single, okay, let's go back. If you have been married and are divorced, and are having situations and problems from it, talk to somebody, get you some help. Ask God to help you. Pray and talk to the Lord. Get you a prayer journal. Get you something so you can write this stuff down to get it out of your heart and to get it out of your soul, because you are connected through soul ties. And so you want to make sure that you make things clear for yourself. If you're getting ready to go into another relationship, make sure that you have done what it takes to make sure you're solid before dumping off on somebody else what you went through in your first marriage. Oh, I know I'm talking good. Because that's important. They weren't there. They don't know the stuff that you went through unless you tell them. And then it's going to be one-sided. But at the end of the day, make sure before you move on to somebody else that you have taken some time to make sure you are solid. So this is the time to reset your focus. This is the time to reset your bad habits and get some good ones. This is the time to reset your priorities. This is the time to reset your body, to get your body in line, to get your body lined up so that if you have been married before and you're going to the next, get yourself together before you move on to your next. Reset your mind. Reset your soul. Reset your purpose in the earth and get you all the way together before moving forward. It's very, very important, people. Very, very important. God desires truth in our inward parts. I'm gonna let that sit there for a moment, because the day of perpetrating is over. And we don't realize a lot of times when people can see you perpetrating, boo, and they won't never say nothing, but they see you. Ladies, y'all leave these pastors alone. If he got a wife, leave him alone. If he don't have one, leave him alone. It's all right to slip him a card or a note or whatever, but you ain't got to be all up in his face. He's not just your pastor. He's the pastor of everybody. Let's be very clear. And the people see you. The mothers see you and ain't saying a word, but they praying for their pastor because they covering their pastor, especially if he's single, because they love their pastor. Some of them don't have husbands. So he's the man that they look up to. So they don't want to see the man that they look up to and they honor and respect see you trying to come and do all of this stuff, and then you making it harder for him to do what he's to do for all the sheep, because you just trying to be that one little wee little lamb out there. You want the shepherd to come run out there and get you and spend all this time with you. Boo, he don't have time like that right now. You better get in where you fit in. Let me tell you how you get him. Tell you how you get them. Let me tell you how to get them. Let me tell you how you get them. If you want a pastor, this is how you get them. Join all the ministries in the church that you are allowed to be a part of. You can't go to the men's ministry. Don't go to the men's ministry. All right. But go to the women's ministry. Get to know the people. Go to Bible study. If you can sing, join the choir. If you can't sing, just get up there. You'll be closer to him than if you was an usher. But then if you're an usher, he'll see you standing up while everybody else is sitting down. Get on the nurses unit. If you don't have one, start one. Then you'll be the only nurse. Then that's what he'll know you for being the nurse. Do something in ministry, people. Don't be lazy. Because God has given all of us an assignment. God has given all of us something to do in the kingdom. He's given all of us something. So find your place in ministry. Find yourself working in ministry. Find yourself helping the seniors. Find yourself working with the children. Find yourself doing something in your ministry. I promise you, he'll see you. Become the director for the children's choir. Because you know the pastors love the kids. Listen, I'm going to tell you, the pastors love the kids. And if you work with the children's choir, oh, they'll call your name. Oh, my Lord, you won't be able to sleep. Listen. I'm telling you. I'm just trying to help you though, really. Because it's horrible to watch. It's horrible to watch. And I watch it all the time. And I see people all the time and I just be laughing. I'll say, bless her heart. And I'm about to be done. But, you know, I've had to shut some people down. I'm married to a preacher. Listen, so I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've observed. I'm telling you some of the stuff that I've lived. And he being so nice because of who he is, he loves the people of God. My husband loves the people of God. My husband calls the people. My husband has called people to check on them since this pandemic has been happening. My husband has called the people because he has a heart for the people. But, you know, and, you know, when church was open and things like that, and my husband praying for the people and all of this kind of stuff and whatever. And I started to notice certain things and I'd be like, okay. Let's go nip this in the bud. He never even knew. I ain't even told him. He probably watching this live right now. Learned something new today, Reverend. No. I cut that stuff off. When I see her, I see her. On her way. No, ma'am, not today. I'm not that person. I'm not going to cause no ruckus and I'm not going to embarrass the man of God. But I promise you, I'll get you together when it comes to my husband. No. We don't play like that over here in our sandbox. We don't do that. Because we play fair over in my sandbox. And I need you to treat my sandbox the same. Don't come over here trying to make no passes because I'll get you. Because I got the Holy Ghost and I pray. Yeah. And I see you. Yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. So I want us to be helped. I want our marriages to work. I want our marriages to be successful. I want to see people happy. I love seeing people happy. I always want to see people happy, even in their hardest moments, even in the hardest times of their lives. I want to see people be happy. I just love seeing people be happy. Listen, and if you are not happy, find you some happiness. Get Jesus down in your heart. Get the love of God down in your heart. See, this is the thing. People that are single are always trying to be married before they get married. How that work, I don't know. And that's not everybody. Because some people are enjoying their single life. One lady said, girl, I don't know how you was married that long. I couldn't have made it. I couldn't have been married that long, waking up to the same person all them years. I couldn't have made it. Well, that's you, boo. You didn't wake up to the same person. You woke up to 4. Okay? You went through 4 wedding ceremonies and didn't get that one right. That's not my fault. And I'm not going to let your unhappiness and the way your situations turn out jack mine up. We're not doing that. No, ma'am. We're not doing that. I got to put some lip gloss on because my bottom lip is a little, yeah. Okay. Because again, my boyfriend is watching. I got to make sure I'm right for my boyfriend. But listen, y'all, I'm serious. I just want people to be happy. I think it is so sad that people are miserable in their relationships. I think it's very disheartening to watch. It's very disheartening to watch people that love people go through hardness in their relationships. And Pastor, listen, Jesus, please help me. Leave your members alone. Leave people alone. Because at some point, it's going to get all bad. It's going to get all bad. I'm serious. It's going to get all bad. And I don't want to see that for nobody, especially people that I know. I don't want to see that for nobody. But at the end of the day, it's going to be bad. And let me tell you why it's going to be all bad. It may not be all bad down here on earth. But when we stand before God in judgment, we have to give an account to God for the deeds that are done in our bodies. And listen, nobody is perfect, but don't mess over the people that are your sheep. And it's disheartening to watch. It's disheartening to stomach. And then we wonder why things start to happen, because God is not pleased. God is not pleased. And so I encourage you, listen, love your husband, love your wife, love your children. Teach your children about the love of God. Get the love of God in your heart. Get the love of God in your soul, and love your spouse as God loves you. God sent himself in the form of human flesh from heaven down to earth to be able to die on the cross to redeem us back to him. Listen, it could have been that he not sent Jesus, or that he not sent himself and died on that cross in the form of Jesus Christ. He could have just let sin forever reign in the earth and not care nothing about us. But he wanted there to be happiness and peace and joy in the world. And the only way that's going to happen is through love. And so love your husband. Lady, love your husband. Clean up that house. Make sure you solid. Make sure you good as a female. Make sure all of your stuff is together, and whatever ain't together, get some help. Listen, take care of your children the best way you know how. And if you need help, ask for it. Don't be too proud to ask for help. This is not the season nor the time to be too proud to ask for help. Everybody is struggling. Everybody is trying to deal with how we got to live and how we got to survive in this pandemic. But at the end of the day, God is right in the midst of it, and God will help you. Pray and ask God to help you. Pray and ask God for wisdom. Pray and ask God for knowledge. Pray and ask God for strategies to have a successful marriage. Pray and ask God for strategies to have a successful household. Pray and ask God how you should treat your husband, because your husband ain't like every other man. Your husband is different than your father. Because there are things that I will do for my father that I will not. Or, excuse me, there are things that I will do for my husband. Oh my, that I will not do for my father. Hear me clearly. We don't do that over here. Okay? But love yourself, lady. Man, love yourself. Get up and quit being lazy. Go to work. Take care of your family. Do what you're supposed to do. Quit cheating and stepping out on your wife. Ma'am, quit cheating and stepping out on your husband. Quit having girlfriends on the side. Quit tipping and dipping and telling your wife or your husband that you going to a church meeting, but people seeing your car at your girlfriend's house. Cut that out. Cut it out. Because you're making yourself look bad. Cut it out. Cut it out. This is not the season to play games, people. This is life or death. We're talking life or death here. This is nothing to play with. And so I admonish you again. I am fighting for the marriages. I am fighting for people to be happy. I want people to be happy in their relationship. Nobody should go to sleep and in their marriage and they not be happy, and they're worrying about if I'm gonna wake up in the morning, because they don't know what he gonna do. Or they worried about, if I wake up in the morning, is he gonna be there? Because I know he don't have to be at work till 10. And I'm taking the kids to school, and he don't have another job before that. I'm telling y'all, we got to cut that out. Cut out the foolishness, because God sees it all. And I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something I had to do. I'm telling you something I had to live. No, I ain't cheated. But there were moments and there were situations at times that made me think about it. And it had nothing to do with my husband. It had to do with circumstances. That part. And I had to rethink and recalibrate my mind and say, fool, is you crazy? You got a good man at home. You have a wonderful husband that love you and them children. Get that fool, devil, move away from me with any of that, because that is not happening over here. Right. And see, I'm a female working in ministry that had to work around a lot of men. So I've had to put men in their places, even dealing in ministry, because they thought, because my husband was not there, that they could just say something or do something to me and I not say nothing. I am not that person. No, ma'am, and no, sir. And so some churches I had to step away from because of that very reason. For that very reason, as a female working in ministry. So you got to be careful, because everybody that's out there ain't trying to be good. Everybody that's out there ain't trying to do good. Everybody that's out there don't always have best interests of the people at heart. But you have to be close enough to God to be able to discern and see it and cut it off. You have the power to shut it down. Because he's given you that power. And you can say it in love with a smile on your face. No, sir, not here. We don't do that over here. No, we don't do that. We do not do that. And so I admonish you. I will be back next week, and I will have a few people on with me, and we will have a discussion about the questions that I've asked earlier. If you were not here earlier, catch the replay. And I want to say good evening, good afternoon, good morning to those that will catch the replay. Thank you for joining us. But I want to admonish us all to love each other as Christ has loved the church and has given himself for the church. Love yourself, love your husband, love your children, and love God. Thank you for tuning in to Marriage Monday. I will see you next Monday, same time and this same channel on All I Know TV. God bless you. I love you all. Bye-bye.